So I'm going to give you the good news first, and that is I'm always wrong.
Okay.
Now here's the bad news. This Western Conference final everyone's talking about, like it's the 27 Yankees against the 96 Bulls, is going to be the biggest sports disappointment since Mayweather-Pacquiao. It just won't last as long. Listen, I love what the Rockets have done. While the rest of the basketball world just seemed to resign itself, Daryl Morey decided not to go so easily into that good night. He said he was obsessed with the Warriors, and he went after them. Good for him. The trouble is Kevin Durant wasn't available anymore, and neither was LeBron James. And there isn't another player on planet Earth capable of turning the tables on a Golden State team that is now 24-3 in the playoffs since the time they added KD to a 73-win team. They haven't played a Game 6, much less a Game 7. And Jalen, if styles make fights, this is one that should be stopped. Houston this season ran more isolation plays than any team in the league, and they threw the fewest passes of any team in the sport. Golden State, meanwhile, threw the third most passes and was in the bottom half of the league in playing iso ball. Golden State has had 5 30-assist games out of 10 in these playoffs. The rest of the league has had 4 in 118 chances. The Warriors right now are a machine. They have the 2 best players in this series. They have a style that's been proven to work, and they have an edge to them that we didn't see all season long. So I would love to be wrong. But you guys, if this thing goes even 6 games, I will be pleasantly surprised.
Wow.
What do you think?
Really?
Yes. I just think they're that
I
good.
feel like given where you started, I feel like 6 is actually a step in the right direction for you. Because at first I thought you thought.
Where I started is that I'm always wrong. And so you would probably do very well by saying, Greeny, you're out of your mind, and I think this is going to be a 7-game thriller. And listen, I'm the same guy who gave you Philly in a sweep. So obviously, you have to take with a grain of salt what I expect to happen. But this, to me, is an historically great team. From the moment they acquired KD, that was my feeling, and I don't see anybody playing with them.
When the last time you made some popcorn on the stove?
In my whole life, never.
Seriously?
Not once.
Where's that going?
I do that really often because I'm going to the point. You should try this series because it's going to be a great one. It's going to be a long series, Greeny. Calm down. It's going to be okay. And the number one reason why, Houston has home court advantage. If the Warriors had home court advantage, it'd probably be over in 5.
It's a weird place for the Warriors to not be starting.
Yes, indeed.
At home.
But
That's
since
odd.
Houston has home court advantage, this series will go 6 games. And you're going to get the intrigue you're looking for. James Harden is not going to be the player he was the last 2 postseasons. Chris Paul is going to be the player you saw against Utah. You're going to see Eric Gordon play well on the big stage. Clint Capella is going to play well on the big stage. This is going to be a well-played series. It's going to be enthusiastic. It's going to be exciting. No, it's not going to be Babe Ruth versus Michael Jordan, but nothing is.
What do you think?
I'm going to say none of us know what it's going to be, but I want to agree with everything that he said. Instead, I'm going to say I hope that it's all those things. Because I have no idea what version of James Harden we're getting. I don't know what Chris Paul we're getting. I don't know what version of the Warriors we're getting. That's what's the beauty of this whole thing is. But what I'm hoping for and what I really, truly believe is that this is going to be the series of all the playoffs. And I think it's set up to be the most intriguing of anything that happens, including the finals. I feel like this is it. This is going to be all the pomp and circumstance, all the fireworks and all that, because it's the 2 most explosive offensive teams out there, and it's a team that Daryl Morey literally engineered specifically to play this team.
And this is also what's different about Houston than the last couple of years. Before, they could only beat you scoring the basketball and with their 3-point shooting. Now they can actually physically play defense. When you add Chris Paul, we're going to talk about his scoring. He's really a tough hombre and can play really good defense.
Let's take a little deeper dive into that point exactly. The Athletic took a closer look back at the game these 2 teams played on January 20th. Houston used a 12-4 run late in the 4th quarter, and they won the game, and they did it by attacking Steph Curry on switches in 6 different possessions down the stretch. Now, I understand that we're getting a little in the weeds here, but I think that's something generally any basketball fan can understand. Can the Rockets expose Steph Curry defensively in this series?
Players against Steph Curry in this series were 6 for 21 from the field. That's not good. James Harden, however, was 50% from the floor. When Steph Curry was guarding Chris Paul, he was 0 for 6. So that's why I don't always look at the stats. I actually watch the game. And Steph Curry has improved on that end of the floor. But if you are going to pick somebody to go at defensively, of course you want it to be a guy that can score 30 on the other end. That is Steph Curry. And your 2 best players happen to be guards in James Harden and CP3. So, yes, you want to go against Steph Curry versus going against Livingston, Iguodala, or Clay. But I'm not going to say that Steph Curry hasn't improved defensively.
I just gave you that stat. The Rockets were #1 in ISO ball, and they were last in the sport in passes attempted. It's literally passing the ball from one player to another. Can that style work against Golden State, or will they have to augment what they do at least a little bit against a Warriors team in a 7-game series?
They must augment what they do. There's no way you're going to beat the Golden State Warriors by the way I saw them play against the Utah Jazz. If that team and that style shows up with no ball movement, they may get swept.
Okay, this is what I'm basing
We
this
went
on.
from that to that.
But this is what they do. This is how they won 65 games this year.
Because, again, I would love to break this down maybe tomorrow. When you ISO, it limits paint scoring. It limits offensive rebounding. It limits second chance points. And here's the other thing you don't want to do against the Warriors. When you ISO a lot, you shoot the ball late in the shot clock. So what happens? You're taking a lower percentage shot. Kevin Durant, Draymond Green is getting the rebound, and they're gone. Off to the races. That is not a recipe for success.
Oh, by the way, I didn't use it in the piece. Golden State #1 in the sport in fast break points.